Hi, I am Eregamani. I'm a management consultant and trainer. I work with a lot of industries and institutions, particularly on this supply chain management and logistics. And I have a vast experience of almost 28 years in industries in various areas of operations, supply chain management, logistics, and other areas. Uh, Presently, I am visiting a lot of business schools to conduct supply chain management, and particularly green supply chain management and logistics, also in some part of operations management. Okay, so today we will be seeing about the 21st century supply chain management. What is about that? What it talks about that? Let us see. We will get into the topic of this. So the overview of 21st century supply chain, the supply chain revolution, why integration creates value, and generalized supply chain model, responsiveness, financial sophistication, and globalization. Supply chain revolution has reshaped contemporary strategy thinking. How? The supply chain management, it consists of firms collaborating to leverage the strategic positioning and improve the operating efficiency. Supply chain strategy, what is that? It is is a channel and a business organizational arrangement based on the acknowledgement, dependency, and collaboration. Logistics is a work required to move geographically positioned inventory. See, it is basically what is that we are trying to understand here is the supply chain strategy. It is a channel and is it's a business requirement or business arrangement which based on depends upon the collaborative and other things. Like for example, if generally we say that no, a single tree cannot be a forest. Like that, a single department cannot run the entire show. So that is required a team or what to say a lined up of what is say departments working interdependently. So just achieve the final goals. What is the final goals? Basically, delivering the right product at right time to the customer. So that is a basic thing. So this is one thing supply chain is required. And in logistics, basically it is moving the material geographically means, for example, the product is produced at one end and it is delivered to the other end, that is to the customer. It may be within a radius of 5 kilometers, it may be radius of 5,000 kilometers. It depends upon the thing. So that's why we name it as geographical positioning and inventory. Successful supply chain strategies, what we can see as per what is say Anderson is a very famous consulting study. What it says is it's a market saturation driven, and it's an operationally agile, and freshness is oriented, consumer behavior, logistics optimizer, and trade focused. So the trade focus basically is a low price and is the best value for the consumer, where logistics optimizer is a strategy to focus less than the brand. So total integration of all businesses process creates a value. How? Integrative management value proposition. So here we have economic value, market value, and relevancy value, where the economic value is about the lowest total cost, economic of scale of efficiency, product service creation. Okay. So it is next is about procurement and manufacturing strategy, market and distribution strategy, and supply chain strategy. So the economic value is the procurement manufacturing strategy is keeping the total cost at the minimum. So totally we cannot say that it can be cost can be eradicated, cost can be completely eliminated. Yes, it is required, but it should be in a minimal form or it's the lowest cost. And economic of scale of efficiency is very important, and product or service creation is very important. And coming to marketing and distribution strategy, attractive assortment, economic of scope of effectiveness is there, and product service presentation. Supply chain strategy, it's a customization, segmental diversity, product and service positioning. So customization is here there will be different product, different service requirement from the different customers. So it depends upon, for example, if you say some part of work which I'm doing it for an textile industry, automobile industry, it may not be straightly relevant to an IT sector or some other thing. So there the concepts are remain same, but according to the custom what is say industry based and customer requirement, the particular what is say the activities related to supply chain has to be customized in such a way that it suits to their requirement. So we cannot generalize the terminology, other things here. So integrated value creation process must be managed across the firms from end to end. So this is a relationship management where it starts from the material and to the customers. Material means it is a raw material and other related parts which are required for the manufacturing. And in between what happened, it conversion is happening. Once the conversion happens, it reaches a consumer. What is the conversion factors happens here? Well, number one is suppliers network and integrated enterprise and a market distributor network. So here to start with the supply network, that means when the material has to be there, so there are identified and qualified suppliers, and there are some qualified systems are there which we can see in the very detailedly how we have to qualify a supplier, what are the methodologies to qualify a supplier, what are the criterias. So these things will be see in the what I say procurement and manufacturing module that will come in very detailed in this case. And here the supply network is in such a way that they people are what do you say uh, uh, as per as possible close proximity is being maintained, otherwise there will be delay in things. Suppose if we have to import a material, there's no other choice. And also there we have to have a lot of other things like how we can stock it because of avoiding a frequent what is say intake of material from the overseas. So integrated here, we say logistics, we have procurement, and we have customer accommodation, and we have manufacturing. These three components is integrated approach where we get the material through the procurement, that is by purchase team, and what is say we have according based on the customer accommodation, what the customer needs, we are taking it. And when the manufacturing, what happens is the conversion happens from raw material to a product. It gives a shape to the product. It gives a life to the product. It gives a what is the exact need what customer wants. It getting converted or transformed. So raw material getting transformed to other phase. So that is manufacturing and supports, and logistics. It helps in taking it to the customer. So the market distribution network is another thing where how we can distribute the product. For example, if it is a very long area, so we cannot take all the way, or if you want intermediate stock points. Okay, so if you have to have intermediate stock points, it's very well possible. But only thing is, it's all should be viable. Okay, so there is a lot of activities are there by a concept called as design thinking. Okay, today it is emerging out in a very big way, and it's a very powerful tool where it helps the organization, it helps the business uh, owners, it helps industry professionals, it helps industry leaders in determining that how to and where to do this type of activity. Suppose if I want to have some intermittent thing, so whether there'll be a lot of some what do you say yeah, gut feeling people will be keep saying. So we can do this, we can do. Instead of that, when you get into decision thinking, then you'll have a structured way of approach of addressing equally and giving all equal importance to the point, and bring out with an best possible solution, which will be mutually benefit to the manufacturer as well as the customer. So and finally reaches to the customer. This is about relationship management and logistics activities and the decision at each level of functionality. Let us see. It's the information function. First, we have transaction system where order management, inventory assignment, order selection, and all comes into picture. The next level in the pyramid, if you see, it's a management control. Here, why we say management control? Because it comes financial measurement and cost and assess management, then productivity measurement, quality measurement, and customer service measurement. So hence this we call as management control, because these are the aspects or these are the criteria which directly being controlled by the management. Because if you take financially, the thing is people should know what is the cash inflow, cash outflow of the company, and which market they are saving, and what is the cost per piece, and how much it is bringing some good profits to the organization, and what is the current set of situation. Then asset management. So when you say in a big organization, a big factory, a big entity, then there could be a lot of machineries, equipment, furnitures, a lot of other related things will be there, which should be proper. It has to be maintained, because the thing is, it is having your own what is say shelf life of each every material, where we have to take a very clear understanding about all the things, and we have to maintain the thing, because depreciation is one part which has to be clearly associated with that, and this depreciation is once again linked to your financial measurement. The next is customer service measurement, where is very important, because the level of service which we do it to a customer, and customer how he interprets, how he feels, and how he inference, and how you experience, very important, how you experience the feel. That's very important, because it will is very mandatory for any organization to understand that how it can go and how we can functionally we can carry out this activity. Next is productivity measurement. Why productivity measurement is thing is because the what is say how much of input I given, how much of output I am taking it, what is the conversion factor, what is the conversion ratio basically it is happening. So suppose, for example, if I am giving it 100 100 inputs, I'm getting 90 output. So there is a shortage of 10. So what is it? What is happening to the 10? Whether 10 is totally scrap, or it can be totally cannot be used at all ultimately. So this type of things actually it is thing where it is to maximize what is the yield. We call it yield. That is productivity. So that's very important that we have to take care of this particular thing, and that's why it is being managed controlled. And the next level of the thing is decision analysis. Very key for any business entity or any other thing. And also not only it's limited to only a business process or a thing, it's also limited to it is applicable to your personal development also. Okay, so vehicle routing and scheduling, inventory levels and management, a network facility, vertical integration, and third party outsourcing. So here very important thing is vehicle routing and scheduling. So it's very important that, because we have to see the earlier we would have studied maybe how many people are around this PERT and CPM. Okay, critical method which we see that in a project we see that, like that, if I am transporting a material from finished good or raw material, whatever it is there, from one end to another end, I have to see what a better routing I can do it, because minimum kilometers, minimum distance is being traveled instead of taking too much of distance. One thing, when you take too much of distance, one thing is a time factor. Another thing is very important thing is cost, fuel. So it should be viable and should be economical in the front. So that's very important doing that. And scheduling is one important factor, where we have to see that which place where and how this has to be done, and what should be the time frame, and when and where it should happen. So scheduling is another important factor. Inventory levels and management basically is the thing is, so suppose if I keep on start producing and storing it, and my inventory goes up, but what happens, the what is it, the distribution is not happening to that action. So it should be the uniformity should be maintained. How much of a thing we are coming and producing and storing it, and same amount of material has to be dispatched regularly. That means the distribution should be well controlled, well planned in such a way that the inventory levels is kept at the optimum. So otherwise, what happens? The cash which is being there, it gets seated in the racks of the what do you say, your godown, or your what do you say, your stores, whatever it is there, it lies there. So we should not allow that should happen. So you should always should see that a uniform flow of material is always thing there, and we should not we should doubly ensure that during the planning phase itself, that how much of inventory levels I'm going to maintain. If in case if I have some spillover of inventory, spillover means extra. For example, I have made 1,000, and whereas only 800 has been dispatched, but 200 still it is lying there. So that should be an alternative plan always for that, how to either ship it to the customer, or if I'm sending it to the market, how I can do that. If not, at the worst case, how I can liquidate that and see that at least my what is say capital what is say basic raw material cost, or at least I should recover from that. So inventory levels always should be well managed. And network facility is very important, that today is very greatly that we have a very good technology in place, and because of that we are able to interact with each other, we are able to share our what to say requirements to the thing, just by either maybe through an SAP environment, or various thing, and we can see that properly. It is we are facility wise we are properly integrated to a proper networking mechanism. And another thing is vertical integration, and particularly the third party are outsourcing. See, suppose if I am running a logistics organization, and I will see that I have there are some limitations to me. So nothing wrong in taking external source person support for that and bringing him, just not being directly into that and doing some evaluation study, having some criteria how we have to choose outsourcing partner, maybe called as third party logistics, that is called we call it 3PL and 4PL in logistics. According to that we can select that thing and we can bring it to there. So that means that that partner also will be very supportive to you. And sometimes what happens, no, we cannot do a person cannot do everything himself altogether. Same like that, a business cannot do everything altogether. So sometimes it is not showing dependency on somebody. So seeking support from there and seeing that how best effectively we can run our business operations. So strategic planning, it's a strategic aligned formulations, development and refinement capabilities, opportunities, focused and profit-based customer service analysis. So these things which is important. A transaction system, okay, functionally consists of a formalized rules and procedures. What are they? The standardized communication focus on tracking and regulating day-to-day logistical transactions. For example, order entry, order fulfillment, inventory adjustment, and invoicing. So it's very important that what is say we should have a what is a formalized rules and procedures, because if it is not there, then there could be a big issue. And the communication should be streamlined, and see that between the what is say location to another location, what are the orders we are receiving today and what are the orders we are completing it today, and what is the left out stock there. So it is always mandatory that on a day-to-day basis we should know what is the inventory left out in the particular location. It's very important. And finally, invoicing, because the invoicing should be what do you say, it should be error free. So otherwise, what will happen? There could be a lot of confusions in the accounting process. So invoicing also should be taken utmost due care in the process. So management control functionality focuses on performance management and reporting. Here, it provides a real-time feedback on the supply chain performance and resource utilization. What is resource utilization? Resource utilization means what we are saying is the infrastructure, what we have created, or what the vehicles we have, so whether the vehicles will be properly utilized, whether it's not underutilized, or we have a manpower resource. So that is being effectively utilized, or maybe some part of the people are what is overloaded and they work with a higher thing, and some part as people are not having that much of work. So there is an imbalance between the things. So we should properly utilize the resource and bring an optimization in this place. Next is common performance of dimension include cost, customer service, and productivity and quality. So next is the decision analysis functionality focus on software tools to assist managers. Today, uh, if we uh, if you want or if you don't want, it is a need of the hour that we have to depend upon the technology that is going to serve. For example, in logistics, we say when you say talk about 21st century, okay, earlier previously we don't have that facilities. Now we have RFID tool very important for tracking all the vehicles and other things very precisely. We can do that. Where exactly is the thing we can see that, because those days when we send a material in truck, we have a clueless unless material reaches the destinations. It will be very difficult for us to know that where exactly the vehicle is, because even if you ask the drivers in between, so the driver may not exactly say the location which they are currently. So these are something which were there, and today because of the software which is available helps to hand and hand to all the record people in this say, and it is to make a better what is say and efficient smooth flow of functioning. The software tools help to identify, evaluate, and compare the alternatives to improve the effectiveness. So that's why actually we bring. So earlier, what happens? The software tool was sophisticated one. So it is, people say it's a biggest thing that we should use this, but no more. It's a pleasure thing. It is a now it's a mandatory requirement that It is not only for easy handling, it is also for accuracy and better organizing of what to say data. And I think this is basically data management is very important today. So without data, we cannot move forward because data is a key for your what to say taking any further decisions. It's called factual based decisions. So types of analysis what we include is supply chain design, inventory management, resource allocation, routing, and segmentally profitable. Okay. Also called as decision support software in the MIS departments. So strategic planning functionality transforms transaction data and assist what is strategic evolution. So it organizes the transaction performance data into an relation database to assist in evaluating the alternative business strategy. Because any in a business we cannot depend on one particular thing. We have to have some alternatives because if one thing miss, then we have to catch up on with the others and see that the anyway the link. That's why we call the supply chain. So the chain link should not get cut at any point of time. So that is the primary thing which every aspect of the business process we have to take care. So examples we see it's a strategic alliance decisions, development of manufacturing capabilities, customer responsiveness and opportunities. Next coming this more opportunities exist for improvements at higher level of functionality. So here we have the characteristics and we have another side we have justification. So here it focuses more on transaction analysis, management control. Lastly, what we have seen like decision analysis and strategic planning. So if you see in the justification part, okay, the transaction analysis basically on competitive qualification, the management control where basically we are doing it on what is say finance and customer service experiences. Here when you get justification, what we have is measurement of competitive capability and addition of potential improvement areas. This is important. So decision analysis is basically what justification we have is identification and evaluation of competitive alternatives. So supply chain information system modules. It's an enterprise integration and administration, and how we are integrating the entire enterprise. That is, an organization is a thing where we are saying that, for example, if you have multi locations, geographically it is a bigger thing. Then it's very important that we have to integrate all the facility, all the locations, all the people together for a better administration and control. It's very important. And next is enterprise supply chain operations and enterprise planning and monitoring. So see, many times what happens, we do a planning and most of the cases what is a missing factor is monitoring. So this is this further in the later stages what happens is it creates a lot of uncertainties and what is say imbalance in the process. So communication technology is very important that today whatever the case we have multiple things like we have email facility, we have mobile connections we have, and also the thing is the what to say now today is possible that we can communicate very effectively and easily, because it is not only the verbal communication we are talking about here, it's also about the data management, how you can share with our customer or share with our what to say if it's a bigger organization to different locations, what are things they have to do, what is the things they are expecting from them. So this communication moving forward is very important for any business process. Otherwise, if there is an ineffectiveness in the communication, definitely it is going to be a big issue in the days coming. Then consumer connectivity. So when you say all about this technology and other information systems, it's very important that our consumer has to be well connected, and we have to ensure that the connectivity is being done effectively, not stopping, not limited to only the connectivity. That means that we have keep well informed our consumers and our customers. What is happening today in industry? What is it? What is it? Price it is happening, what is the market trends is happening, what are the new technologies coming. So maybe if the customer who is getting the service or the product support from a particular person, he may not be all the time knowing about need to know entire spectrum of what is what is going to be in a particular technology or what a process. So they are going to take the services or they're going to take the product, and they will have some basic information and idea how it is happening, but they do not need to have a in-depth knowledge or information to that. But it's a responsibility of the supplying company to see that the information related to the product, information related to the data management, information related to processing, is all properly kept informed to the consumer, because they are also being aware of it. Why it is very important? Correct. One thing is, it's a basic requirement that we should keep them well informed, and the connectivity should be well defined. Application oriented perspectives of the modules, basically it is enterprise planning and monitoring, enterprise resource management, enterprise integration and administration, enterprise operations. So basically it is a monitoring and what is say option activities. Enterprise resource management, ERP, and today we talk about what is say SAP as a brand. So like different from many people have a confusion between ERP and SAP. So ERP is what is say is a technology which is being used for planning and what is say compilation of materials, stocking, and storage, and what is say data management and other things. Okay, SAP is a brand. Okay, so backbone of most of the firm's logistical information system. It's not only limited to logistics, it's also for entire supply chain requirements of the thing. What is it today we have in stores, which part of things there are uh, in the separate locations apart from the current location, what are the current stock being maintained. So why this is all required is, suppose we want to go for make or buy decision. Okay, suppose if I want to make it, so let us assume that it takes almost 15 to 20 days for the product to be done, and a customer wants very urgently thing. So instead of going for make that means producing the parts, where it takes some almost 2 weeks for you to complete the entire process of manufacturing and bring it to a record product shape. So instead of that, when we know that what is so much of materials, same items are available in a different location, you can just maybe it is a very lesser quantity, we can take what is say help from them and ask them to ship it directly to the customer. And the thing is, maybe it may take 2 3 days, but obviously instead of waiting for 2 weeks, within 2 3 days we can see that material is being shipped to the particular customer at the right time. So if you want to do that, then we should know that what is stock available in different locations first of all. So sitting from there, otherwise what will happen, we have to send an email and waiting for the reply from the customer. That was those days it was happening. So still it was further bigger issue in maybe some 25 30 years back, where we have to send a letter and we was waiting for that, or we have to book a call, we call it trunk call, and we have to wait for that, and it is a very it's not very feasible to do it at all point of time. So today, because of all this infrastructure we have, and particularly the technological resource we have, and this ERP, that is enterprise resource management or enterprise resource planning, is very helpful in maintaining a good database in various level. If you take in a materials management, if you take in production planning, if it takes in what is say maintenance, preventive maintenance, then quality maintenance, and distribution and logistics. So very much helpful. So maintains integrated database of the current and historical data. Historical data means, for example, it's not only for this financial year, the previous financial years, if you want to have some references, if you want to take some what is say reference from the data which we have been performed in the earlier days, we can easily, you can go and put the only the, if there will be a pull down menu where you can pick the that financial year, what you want, and we can easily put the item code and other details. We can able to get the particular data for particular item. But it is not feasible sometime back, because we have to go and take the ledger of the manual ledger. Maybe it will lying in some what is say a storeroom somewhere. We have to bring it, take it, and we have to compile it, and it's a hell of a lot of time. So today this is very supportive that this ERP is supporting to a greater extent. The process most of all transactions across all business functions. Example transactions include order entry and management, inventory assignment, and shipping. So enterprise integration administration modules basically is general administration, accounts receivable and payable. So here it is very important, because It keeps a track of it, of what accounts we have to receive, and also what we have to pay to our suppliers and channel partners, whoever it is. And second thing is the financial and inventory accounting, very very crucial, because of this ERP and system and software technology is available. It is easy to make what is better accounting procedures, and it is possible to do. And human resource also, it is what is a headcount in a organization it is as, and is being very helpful in doing this administration as well as other supply chain. So it is better that all the areas is being integrated and getting administered. These things all becomes very very helpful, and it's a need of the hour. So enterprise operations modules support day-to-day supply chain operations. Enterprise operation basically is on customer relationship management, logistics, manufacturing, purchasing, and inventory deployment. So when it comes to customer relationship management, it's basically on what are things we can take. It's a forecasting, demand management, and collaborative and forecasting and replenishments and order management. This all comes under the customer relationship management, where it's very prime important that without this detail we cannot move forward, or whether we cannot plan our activities effectively. When it comes to logistics, it's a finished good inventory management, order processing, then warehouse management, then transport management, and yard management and accounts receivables. Coming to manufacturing, it's resource planning, which we have to do that. Resource planning means, so it's not only basically what are the infrastructure we have, particularly machineries and equipment, how effectively we can use this. So which are the machines already is running to the full capacity, which is having a spare capacity. Accordingly, we can load that thing appropriately for particular conversion operations and activities. Then capacity management planning. So we know that there is a capacity thing. Every industry when it's built up, it will have a capacity. For example, if you take steel industry, it will be numbered in tons. So people say it is a 5,000 ton capacity. So that means that we can go up to 5,000 tons. It means not exactly 5,000 tons, maybe some 4,900 tons we can take it into thing. Of course, 100 tons always there will be some thing will be there, spare will be there. Okay, the master production schedule. So here it is very important that in master production schedule, because if you don't have that master production schedule, so we will not be knowing which day, which shift the material is being properly loaded or going to be converted. Manufacturing operations going to happen. So the quality management is very important thing, because it has to certify the product is good or bad. Based on that only the packing, the material can be moved to further stage of packing, because it is very important that once it reaches a customer, if there is any mistakes or rejections found, the thing is it's a biggest time waste factor that is wasted, both and by the manufacturer as well as by the customer. So very important that quality management has to be given due advantage, due thing attention for all this activity. Purchasing, purchase order administration. So it has to have today there is no most of the organization, not most organizations. I think almost all organizations are just migrated to software related what do you say, generated purchase orders, because if you want to go to manual, there's a lot of time, and not only time. Very important thing is that there's a lot of error. Possible errors can happen there. So then supply relationship management, where we should have a very strong supplier base, and suppliers should be what to say, carefully picked up and selected, and there is a each organization has its own set of criteria for assessment of the supplier initially. Through the assessment process, they bring it into the what is say approved vendor list or approved supplier list is being generated. So the purchase department has to only order to such suppliers only, or approved suppliers only. They are not they should not deviate from that and go into the thing, because if for any reasons if they're going to deviate, there could be some what is say confusions can happen. Also, some mistakes can happen. Inventory development, basically it is a inventory integrated inventory planning and advanced planning of and scheduling. So enterprise planning and monitoring of the schedules. It's basically it's a sales operations and what do you say and monitoring and supply chain visibility and event management. So integrative management requires simultaneous achievement of eight process. What are they? Demand planning responsiveness. This is very important because when we have a demand known what is the thing, and if we have a responsive system associated with that, then we know that what is happening, and we can set the things going happen in the right direction. Customer relationship collaboration is very important. That information here, the main thing is how we can strategically information sharing can happen between the customer and other things, and we can integrate the operations in a better way. So order fulfillment and service delivery, this basically it is the sustainable order delivery performance and related to essential services. Next comes the product and service development launch, then manufacturing customization. Here a very important thing is a strategy and facilitation of postponement through the supply chain. Some of the things we require that is called prioritization. Which one I should do today, which I can postpone to tomorrow, which I can postpone to the next week. So this comes under proper thing, and this manufacturing customization is required for running the process and the production very effectively. Supply relationship collaboration, that it's a administration relationship which supplies to facilitate strategic for information and strategic integrated operations. Life cycle support is very mandatory, including the warranty and maintenance of the thing, because once product or the service is being completed, then it doesn't stops there. It's a life cycle support, in the sense till the product is existence with the customer, to be able to give support in the particularly in the maintaining of the parts or maintaining of the equipment, whatever it is. Reverse logistics, it's a return and disposition inventories where it's done in a very secured manner. More than secured manner, it should be very cost effective. The concepts necessary for achieving integrated management is basically it's the lowest total process cost in the focus of the integrated management. It differs from the lowest cost of each function in the process. Collaboration, basically, of operation information technology and risk. We encourage the national legislation to keep the user base from competitive. Enterprise extensions includes expand the managerial influence and control beyond the traditional ownership. So integrated service providers where logistics accommodate in order to entry in the product and the delivery. So enterprise accession. So what is that? Information sharing paradigm is a thing where supply chain participants sharing the operating information can achieve a higher degree of collaboration and enhance strategic planning. So ISPs means here integrated service providers, where we call as outsourcing, transportation modes, public warehouses, value-added services, third and fourth party providers, asset or non-asset based service providers. Here, the integrated service providers basically it means what are the stakeholders who are being the part of the business, where they support their, maybe they may not be the part of the organization, but they'll be externally, they'll be providing some support to the organization in doing the activity very effectively. For example, outsourcing. See, suppose if, for example, if when a management takes a decision that, so when I want to enhance my infrastructure or capability, then it needs some investment and budgeting and other things. So maybe ROI and the return on investment may not be very great thing that. So management takes a decision that better will go for outsourcing. For example, if I want to buy some 2 or 3 trucks, okay, so that is not my main core function. Okay, so today many of the businesses it operates like that. So what happens is my core area of business, I take care of it. Then associated with this, so I don't have in-house facility with me. I take a support from my third party external person, and I complete my activity in such a way that I can do that. So that we call generally we call it as outsourcing, right? And it is a basic requirement also, and it's a need of the hour. And what will happen? We cannot keep on investing in the organization, and then what will happen? one point time that becomes that it could be the chance that it can be an absolute, so we are not able to do anything with that. And sometimes something will be a short term thing. For example, we get an order, so that order particularly we want to convert it. So I need some a particular machinery. For example, I want to have a CNC machine is maybe lathe, or CNC grinding machine, or I need a CNC what is say cleaning machine. So some parts has to be cleaned before it takes for further processing. So generally what happens is, or if you take an electroplating basically we call it as a special process. So yeah, one more thing is, if I'm making electroplating as in-house operations, there's a lot of what to say things we have to take care, because environmentally it should have a issue, and we have to comply to a lot of what to say government norms and other things. So generally, what happens in such a situations, the management takes the organization management takes a decision instead of bringing that such facility inside to the premises. So they take it from the outsourced premise where already people are exclusively doing that. And another thing is also think that it's best because maybe I may not be, for example, if I'm taking introducing electroplating, because so far electroplating is not part of my business or part of my what to say manufacturing setup. So a customer asks that this is the product I want, and the product requires electroplating operation as a finishing part. So I don't have facility. So if I want to create something, if I am going to have the downline, if I am going to have future based requirement also, then that is it's meaningful to go for investment, and there will be ROI and other things we can talk about later. Talk about it on that. But when we know that very clearly, it is only a short-term requirement, then it is better not to go for that and go for a wise decision and better decision that the what to say a supplier or thing who's having a setup already exclusively set up for his interpreting alone. Okay, we can take the support from him, give the parts to him. He will just plate it and he will return back to you. Just check it and use it. So that then what happens? The big headache of maintaining that requirements and common norms inventory for you is reduced, but it is not in the see. Then we may have a question. Then how come? What to say? Uh, how come this your vendor or the partner, if you take an electroplating, he is managing, why we cannot manage? See, for him that is his exclusive job, and it is only job for him. So he's an expert in electroplating. He will do the electroplating and he will maintain the government norms, everything he will do that. So it is possible for him and is viable for him. But when I'm running a bigger operations there, in a lot of what is say stages of operations I'm maintaining, already have a lot of what is say practical issues which we have to face it and come out of it. When I'm adding this to that, then unnecessarily I'm inviting my own trouble. And what happens, the activity, what to say the completion of the activity and delivery, that could be an issue. So better that depends upon the thing. Outsourcing the thing is always could be a better option based on the circumstances and based on the product requirement and based on the whether it's a one-time affair or whether it's going to have a continuity of requirements. It can be decided. And transportation modes. So what are the modes of transportation? So today we have very vast thing, like it's not only limited to road transport. Now we have rail transport, we have sea transport, we have what is say air transport. A lot of things are there. And today, if you take rail transport, is also becomes more what is say beneficial in terms of cost also, and also the thing is that there's not much thing like what to say. There could be some little bit of uncertainties, but what is happening in the road transport, it is being all the type of challenges is being addressed here. Because for example, if the road is not good, if it is heavily rains, then here also in rail transport also heavily rains, there could be some disturbance in the operations, but not to that great extent what happening in the road transport. So it depends upon the your transportation recommend or your destination or your geographical location. You can choose the transportation, and based on things as I said initially also, when you say the geographical locations, if you have well planned, then we can go for a sea thing for overseas shipment. Otherwise, if you are not planned properly, then you have to go for a air shipment where you have to do where you have to pay what to say more than uh, 5 to 8 times higher than that. And sometimes it's 10 times also. So public warehouses, so instead, when we don't have your own warehouse or something like that, then we can have make use of the public warehouse and that as a intermediate stock points or whatever it is there, and thereby we can just try to limit our assets because we keep on increasing the assets. Then assets management is going to be another big headache where we have to spend more time on reviewing that, see that everything is being proper statutory requirements has been met by that thing, or otherwise one day authorities will come and put the seal over the warehouse. So these all uncertainties can happen. But when you go for public warehouse, already these things would be taken care by the people there. So there is no headache for you there. You can just we can just pay for as a rent or something for that basic requirements be met. And finally, you can start using this and your purpose is being served. So then value added services it's very important for integrated service providers and third party and asset management is a very important thing where that's the thing we have to what is say as far as possible to try to limit our assets otherwise that could become a big thing for you to maintain and do other things. The forces of driving supply chain strategy is information technology. Very well you know that because without that information support, so it's very difficult for us to move forward or to know what is happening in the different locations, whether material is moving, whether truck is in the proper location. All these aspects we cannot able to not know about it. Then integrative manner, that is integrating three or four more than two areas where you can make a better control and monitoring is easy for us to do. Responsiveness, that means what is say whenever there is could be some queries coming from your customer or from a supplier or other what is say your supporting resources, so you should have some responsive system. That way most of the time it's better to if we have some automated thing in to a certain extent it is also beneficial because if you have tried to communicate to them and there's a big issue, then it becomes a problem. Financial sophistication and globalizations today we are very not limited only to India. So we started doing business globally and we have a lot of challenges today doing that activity because it's not only on the finance terms, it's also the cultural based. We say globalization. So when I'm doing a business with the US is a different thing. When I'm doing a thing with Brazil is a different thing. When I'm doing with Arab countries, there the cultural differences are there because cultural differences are having a little bit of bearing on your what do you say business. We cannot completely rule out that it plays a certain extent of thing, and also language. For example, if you take Japan, and if you take China, and these are the things where we have a language barrier. So with all these things, we have to overcome that, and we have to uh, carry out our activities for the business to get better and better prospects. So responsiveness emerges as a competitive advantage. So the thing is, we start from the forecasting, buy components and materials, manufacture. Then we need to store it. For that, we need a warehouse, and we have to sell, and further we have to deliver it. So next is responsive business model is sell. Then start from the selling. Then it goes to the buy components of materials, manufacture, and deliver. What is postpone strategies? Keep supply chains responsiveness. What are type of postponement? Manufacturing or the form or geographic or logistics are combined. That is both manufacturing and geographic locations is maybe there. So manufacturing and geographic types are exact opposite in practice, but have the same goal: meeting customer demand quickly while minimizing the inventories. So manufacturing postponement, manufacturing what is say manufacturing one order at a time. So that means what I mean, I have some 10 items. So sometimes I used to take one item per time. So it is the postponement means I'm just keeping it for some other time and other things. Base of modular construction of the product. So no customization until the exact customer specs and financial commitment is received. So here the thing is what we meant is sometime what will happen, we'll get the order. That's why we are saying exact customer specifications. I just explain it here just for understanding. We get initially we get the order, and along with the order we get the customer specification or a drawing. But what happens is sometimes we may not be very clear about the customer specifications and requirement. So and if you don't ask the customer and get a clarity over that, so what happens is one thing is that there will be delay in producing the goods or delay in manufacturing the items. One second thing, there is a more possibility that we can tend to we can end up in what is producing a wrong material which may supply may not accept it. And second thing is uh, what is saying the financial commitment. So suppose when you say order, for example, if you take a situation like this, we receive an order from the customer, okay, and initially when we are saying when the terms and conditions, we would have told that some 20%, 10% advance payment before processing, and particularly when we are operating with overseas customer, we'll go for what to say LOC and other things where it is very important to start the activity just to have a mutual safety and every aspect. And here the financial commitment basically thing is if the customer agrees to pay some basic advance, and because it is what you can say, it's a what is it's a point of start. We need some sort of point start, no, it's a trust building, I think. Also it's one form of getting a what is a confirmation from the people that yes, I can start the activity now, and tomorrow I can go in a full swing. So generally it is a business requirement that we have to see that whether the financial commitment is met before we start the activities, or otherwise we have to repent for it. We start the activity, and by the time what will happen, there could be some issues coming in, cropping in between, and we have to set it aside, and uh, we have to handle it separately. So next is objective to is to maintain the product is an uncommitted status is as long as is possible. Balances economy of the scale and responsiveness, can build a sufficient quantity ready to customize the basic units. Requires a lot of forethought during this. So example of manufacturing postponement. Okay, keeping all the car panels a base color white or gray until the order is received, painting is done after that. See, simple thing what is it, we are trying to say here is so I don't get what is clear forecasting or recommend from a customer or from a market. So what is it we are saying is just do the basic activities like basic coating of the painting. For example, if you are doing some two stages or three stages of coating, basic coating, base color coating, I will do it and keep it. Definitely that is a need of the hour. So without base coating we cannot carry out the second stage and third stage of coating. So it is a that's why we call as base coating. So I'll do the base coating and keep it. And second thing, another advantage is when I'm keeping it for some time, maybe for 1 week, 10 days or 15 days, even 20 days or for a month. So the if it is the parts, suppose if we have some steel parts, there could be a possible that it can get rusted or corroded in building. So when I'm doing this basic coating, then it prevents that, and prevents from that activity. And what is the benefit of doing this activity of doing this is, suppose if immediately I don't get an confirmation from my customer, so which color he wants and which color, for example, if I take a car, which color he want to get painted, in which color he wants, how much they call us variants, okay, how much variants there and how much variants they require. So maybe if they come out with some after 1 month also, when this is being ready, then immediately we can go for the thing and completing it in a very short time, and we can deliver the product. Otherwise what will happen, once if we get if we just waiting for 1 month, keep on following, and maybe end of the month they're confirming it and they're asking that next 2 days you have to deliver. So it is impossible for you to give delivery because it takes minimum 10 to 15 working days to do complete all activities, then assembling and then testing activities are there. So considering that, If you just this mean that what is this? We just bring it the product in a what is say just before the final stages. If you can bring it and keep it there, then we can easy to make it up. So geographic postponement here, what it means is build up a stock of the full line inventory and one few strategic location. That means if I am operating it from Delhi, if I'm operating from Chennai, if I'm operating it from what you can say from Gujarat, different parts of it. Let us assume that. So, but I have to deliver it to a location, maybe a 500 kilometers or maybe some 1500, 2000 kilometer. We don't know how the customers will be having. So this condition, what I think is we should have a strategic locations in between where I can, based on the forecasting and what is say indication what I receive from the customer, accordingly I can manufacture little bit in advance and keep it at the storage location point. So here what I have to take care is I should take care of my inventory also. So compromising inventory and just building it and going and keeping the stocking the material is of no use because it will going to eat away. So it is going to disturb your setup and profits and other thing. So this is we talk about the first thing like build a stock or full-time inventory as one of the few strategic locations. Here my experience, one of my experience, maybe a year back. So I also do a consultancy for the industries, maybe bigger, larger industries, medium industries, also for small scale industries. We do think. So there was one particular, maybe we can take this as a case study also. There is one particular pain point for the customer. What the pain point the customer was having is this my customer who's there in Bangalore where I am supporting them. So they were supplying it to a company called as ABB. So ABB was operating mainly operating from German. Most of us we know that, and some part they do in India also. So majorly they are operating from German, and the material has been shipped to there. So earlier the thing is it requires almost 10 weeks from the date of getting the what is a confirmed order till the material is getting dispatched. It takes minimum sorry till the material reaching the customer in the Germany. It takes totally the complete cycle. Supply chain requires 10 weeks to complete the activities. So this was time and again ABB was requesting that company in Bangalore where I am supporting them for a improvement project on a consultancy. So we tried some different means, but we are not able to bring down from 10 weeks. We are able to bring down only from 10 weeks to 7 weeks, not beyond that. So, but still, the ABB was not fully satisfied. See, ultimately, what for we are running the business? We are running to not only to. It's not the primary business aim is to what is say bring on profit alone. Our profit only is a profit is a byproduct of your activities or value which you are creating in the business process. The profit should be a byproduct of thing. It's not the main thing that. So here, what they were asking, ABB was telling that only 7 weeks there, and still we are on problem because what the problem they were facing is some of the customers because they get a product from my customer and reaches to German and they have a equipment where they integrate this part to that and finally they after assembly they're testing it and they have to ship it to the customer. This was a requirement which they were having. So then we tried all the ways and means. We had a different discussions with the customer. Also, we traveled to Germany and we had a personal interaction with them. And finally, we understood that they are very clear that that is because their requirements sometimes very fluctuating. Some immediately they ask 5 pieces, sometimes they ask 10 pieces. Maybe not ABB is asking, ABB customer, end customer. So the quantity is varies and it fluctuates. Second thing is the time. Sometimes the customer give time for them. They give some 30 days. Sometimes they give 60 days. Sometimes they give 45 days also. And sometimes they give only 2 days. And sometimes they give some 1 week also. So things is not very certain because their end customers' requirements are there like that. So what was happening sometimes how it was managed is if it is an immediate requirement we used to what is say air shipment will be done and within 2 days the material will reach the thing, and they will try to manage it like that. And it is like a firefighting. Each and every day it become what to say, particularly the sales team, they will go mad in this case. And we took it as a challenge, and we should do that. And finally what happened is, the team, when he had the brainstorming and everything, finally the team came with the option that we can go for setting up what is a location, strategic location near the ABB thing, maybe a diameter of or a circle diameter of 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers or maximum of 10-kilometer radius. And it is more like a warehouse. And immediately what happened, this was discussed and was finalized, took the management decision, also communicated to properly communicated to the ABB. And ABB and my customer company had a 2 or 3 rounds of what is it, discussions through Skype. And finally it was decided, yes, we will go ahead with this. And how to, here the very challenging thing is, two things is challenging. One thing is creating a warehouse there and there and maintaining that warehouse, sitting it in India is too difficult. Point number one. The point number two is, what is say, the inventory levels should be very optimized. It's very difficult to optimize because the requirements are very erratic. So we had to balance it in some ways. There was two challenges in front of that, and it was discussed in elaborately. And finally, thing is, the decision was taken that we put up a warehouse there. And a third party person was identified. And what is it, since we came out with a lot of ideas and supporting them, ABB also supported, and finally a warehouse was made for them, and it was working. And it started maybe last 7 to 8 months, it is working fine. And the ABB is very satisfied now. Because of that, what happened, since we my customer means in Bangalore where I'm supporting, since they supported them, so earlier they were doing a business of 20 crores. In last 4 months back, they told that we'll increase your market share, that way from 20 crores henceforth you'll be getting some around 30 or 32 crores we get. That means 10 to 12 crores higher orders you're going to get. So because we took all the efforts and risk in setting up this activity, so that is a benefit which we got. Okay. So one thing is that thing is why I elaborated the thing is, so just to understand what is the need for having a full line inventory in having a strategic location, or having a interim warehouse where we can support our customers in a better way. But it's not all the cases is not possible. Case to case we have to decide on something. Forward deployment of inventory is a postponed until customer orders are received. Once orders are received, the specific item is expedited to the local distributor because it is in a very close proximity. Advantages are manufacturing economies of scale along with responsiveness to the customer, often use critical and high cost parts and assemblies, etc. So example of geographic postponement: keeping the full inventory in a central warehouse and releasing the customer orders to the local distribution and directing the customer. That means instead of having a warehouse in each and every location, having a central warehouse, from there it can be distributed. So that is also works out in a thing, because that's why I told that in any business process, it is not we cannot generalize and we cannot have a common system. We have to customize it based on the activities, product, and the geographical location and the customer requirements. These are the things actually. Combined postponement, it's a basic products centralized and performing a customization at the destination of the distributor. Historical examples is autos, the installer dealer options like sound system, GPS, sunroof, and new cars purchase. For example, what is the thing is, they don't completely assemble and give it. So if now today it is possible that they have extra accessories and they fit it and go, or otherwise you can just bring the car there, and we have a lot of other small outlets available everywhere. If you take in Delhi, Noida, and what to say in northern part and southern part, whatever is there, you can bring it. It's our choice today, because earlier though we don't have such facilities. Now if you want there, you can tell it in the showroom itself. The showroom will completely, they will fit everything and they completely give it. Or if you don't want that, if you feel that it is a little bit expensive, then we can bring it there and we can make it according to your choice. Otherwise also we can, according to your budget, you can do one thing. Now if you want to put a GPS system today, after 3 4 months you can just go for sunproof system, or if you want to put some audio system, then you can go for another 4 4 months, and it can be done according to your convenience and according to your budget. So contemporary examples of computer, Dell computers doing the final assembly or packing, and additional system options like printers and digital are done by the distribution center. So the barriers to the implementing the responsive systems, need for the publicly help corporations to maintain the planned quarterly profits, and need to establish a collaborative relationship. Most of the managers don't have a training or experience in the development of collaborative arrangements, and it is a need of the hour. That's why multi-skilling and multitasking is required, because people able to collaborate. For example, if I'm saying I'm a what is a logistics expert, I should also know that what is about RFID, at least basic things to understand that, to coordinate and get a better results. So financial sophistication, that means cash to cash conversion, the time required to convert the raw material to inventory purchases to the sales revenue. That means getting the raw material and getting it the finished products. So what's the time it's happening, so that we have to see that it's a time based or time bound. So or we call what is it? Otherwise, we can go for a cash spin, where reducing the assets in the supply chain, and can spin the cash for the reinvestment of the project. That means quick rotation of the what is say cash, which is available with there. So globalization of the forms of several attractive opportunities. Demands exceeds local supply, and strategic sourcing, where the raw materials and components of materials distributed to the matching requirement. Significant differences for the global logistics. Distance of typical order to delivery operations, significant order compared to domestic business. Documentation requirements for the business transactions is significantly more, and how consumers demand the products and services must accommodate the cultural variations. Another one important thing associated with this thing is, we should also understand about life cycle assessment. It's a integral part of the thing, particularly in the 21st century. We should know this, what is about things, and what is the need of things. So just quickly we'll see about life cycle assessment. Assessment is a product gradle, where vertical integration takes place. Horizontal and all type of impact is there, and role of functional unit is there. Integration of over space and time. Understand. So demand for environmental information, possible objects of making, substance and material, product and service, waste and waste management, process and installation, activity, project and infrastructure, company technology and lifestyle. So demand for environmental information, types of decision situations are strategic planning and capital investments, green building, waste management. So here basically the thing is, when you say life cycle assessment, means for any product or any what to say activity, particularly the product based thing. So you should have some it will have a life cycle. So that life cycle has to be what to say, it should be what to say, and during this thing you should be have what to say, you should have a eco based design, and the product development should be there, because otherwise what will happen, there could be a possible impact. For example, if a product being designed and developed for a DRDO, Defense Research Organization, no DRDO. When we are making such thing, you should, the product should be economically thing. And suppose if we are using some other material or something, we should not have interference with the other product. For example, DRDO, when they are doing it for space, okay, for space research something. So the material which I am using, I should be very carefully selecting eco-friendly material, because when it goes to a particular location, for example, a satellite is being sent in an orbit in some place, I'll be sending it to what to say, moon or something there. According to the situation where it is going to be there, to get lot of information and data from there. So the what is it, the material which we're using should not get interfered with the what is say signals basically. So I have to choose a proper material when selecting such type of things, and carefully we have to do. That's a thing. Let's see, life cycle assessment has to be done very promptly. And eco design and product development is mandatory, and operational management, there is green procurement. So green procurement is nothing but what is say the product which is being manufactured is being done with a lot of care, where it in the operation stages it is if it take there is some effluent is there. So effluent is properly treated, and effluent is not left to the ground and contaminate the land. So each and every stage of the manufacturing activity and even the procurement activity, for example, when I'm saying that I should not use a lot of paper materials and other things, and use email facility for sending the items. Also, when the material is being supplied by the supplier, it should be properly, it has to be packed with what is it, eco-friendly materials without affecting the environment. And once received there, we should have a proper disposal mechanism, and better that we can send back the material and reuse it. So these are some activities which it has properly take care of the environmental related things, because it is a need of the hour, and we have to save our planet from environmentally affected, because we have to certain extent we lived to certain in this thing, and we have to give a space for the upcoming generation also to experience. So you know that when you say, the thing is, if you know in Delhi today, what is happening is a lot of environmental related issues are there, and what is say the level of the thing is going day by day. So it has to be cut down very easy, greatly. Otherwise, what will happen? The future is going to be a big threat for each one of us. So life cycle assessment framework. So it is basically an inventory analysis and the impact assessment and goal and scope of definition, and these are things will be there. Here what I'm using is integrated and waste management, that is reduce, reuse and recycle, where we are talking about the packaging, where we can recycle the packaging and other things. Also the material, for example, if it is plastic material, or if it is being an steel material, also it can be further, it means the smelting furnace, we can melt it and we can use it for different type of applications instead of just throwing away the material, uh, and using the material very effectively. So the waste disposal basically on landfilling, incinerations, resource recovery, recycling, reuse, and source of reduction. The most preferred is source of reduction is, that means when I'm producing a product or a thing, there first of all what I should ensure that the generating of waste from the product should be minimized as far as possible. One thing is that when I'm reducing that, I'm being environmental friendly, because it's easy for me to dispose or something. One. The second important thing is what do you say? When I am using a lot of my resources like machineries, then fuel or power, electricity to greater extent, then if I'm getting a lot of wastages from there, and once again I have to invest uh, time, we have to put efforts in converting them back to that. So it's once again it's a biggest activity, and a lot of what is it, time and energy is required in doing that activity. So the best way is going for source reduction. That means for example, I can tell one small example. When in manufacturing, people what they do is they pick a big piece of rod to make a small piece. So what happens, so much of material has to be removed to make a size. For example, I want to make a, 10 mm diameter and 10 mm diameter and 30 mm length. For that, if I should have a closest material by removing the material, or I can just go by the forging route. I can go for a different route where exactly the same size I can maintain it. That way, what happens is, otherwise I get a raw material of size which slightly plus 2 mm or 3 mm on the diametrically as well as in the lengthwise. Then I have to machine it and remove the material. Thereby, I'm creating a big wastage in the process. So best is directly going for the forging if it is acceptable, or we can just go for some other method of alternate method of making the size required for that. So that is called a source reduction. That means avoiding the scrap generation, and later on finding it difficult to dispose it of. So why to manage waste? So it conserves the resource and energy, as you told earlier. See, when I'm using it, I'm using a lot of what is it, fuel, and if you take in the furnaces, a lot of fuels are there. There are electrical operated furnaces, There are other type of furnaces being used. So when this case, when I'm not maintaining that, what do you say, waste is not properly, then becomes a big issue. So reduce water and air pollution is another thing, and saves the landfill space. I think I think source reduction already is. Source reduction is are reduced. The preferred method is prevent the generation of waste in the first place. The manufacturers to decrease the material. That's the thing we told, that we should use a minimized material, and energy used during the manufacturing and distribution will be the minimum, and efforts and cost associated with it also be minimum. Consumer, the purchase item will be the minimal packaging. Avoid disposable products. Include the backyard. Reuse. Prolong, prolonging a product usable in life, repairing the items, selling them, or donating them to charity. And that means it is being used instead of being thrown out, because every material is having its own value. And so recycle, taking a product at the end of the useful life, and using all the part of it, make it and another part. Benefits, what are benefits we are getting? Saves energy, natural resources and landfill space, reduction pollution, creates jobs, because some jobs definitely is created because of that, and useful products, and requires collection and processing. So waste disposable resource recovery is resource recovery from waste is burned to produce energy. So a lot of in area where in one of the company in Jabalpur, there different product, but what exactly they're doing, it's here there a lot of heat is getting wasted. They have a lot of heating systems for the process. So what will happen? Waste is goes in form of heat. So what they made is they try to use that heat waste, they call it waste recovery process. So waste heat is being recovered in such a way that they channelize that heat into active thing, from where they're able to generate some part of what is it? They can use the water to boil, and from there where they used to send it to turbine, and they are able to generate some part of electricity, where they can able to use it for that electricity produced being used for a small area. So this way, the recovery activity has to be at the maximum. To you see that what is say, our natural resources are not being properly, not exploited, and not improperly used. We'll see quickly. We see about a case study which we done in one of the what to say, yeah, ceramic industry. Ceramic means not a floor tiles manufacturing. It is an industrial and engineering ceramics company, where exactly one's activity is being done. This is for your interest. Just we'll see quickly what. So here they make a lot of items like what you are seeing in the cross section, where the cylindrical portion is in the blue color, is basically what you are seeing is that what is say, uh, what is say, it is basically what you can say, it is a uh, this particular part. Okay, this particular part where exactly is outer thing, where it is a steel, and inside what, where you're seeing white color, this white color what you're seeing, it's a ceramic tile which is being pasted and kept there. So it will be kept, get secured, because this particular thing, it is being used in a what do you say, thermal power plant, where the coals being transmitted. So where we are seeing is a ceramic tile in the white, it is a ceramic tile. The outside blue color is a steel. First they fabricate the steel and outside, then finally what happened, they will just put this ceramic tile inside and then do a outer painting and send it to the customer. Okay, so this particular tube is being used, this pipe being used to what to say, discharge or travel the coals from one end to another, where you know that the coal is being used as a fuel in the thermal power plants. Okay, so what we have done is, the problem is to increase the cost of green ceramic cutting, and reclaim generate during the cutting process. That means reclaim means here in this industry what they mean is waste, that is scrap. So that is scrap or extra material. So what is impact area is cost of manufacturing, manufacturing lead time, liner quality, safety issues. So this was a case, and you can see that what is say, and, after molding is being done in the hydraulic press, then what will happen, they'll take it for the tile cutting. So here they'll have a cutting blade will be there, and just earlier they were doing manual cutting, today it is completely automated. So what will happen when we cut the extra portion, because they have to bring it to size. For example, here it is the actual size, and they want the side some angle, so the angle has to be cut. So because this particular ceramic slightly difficult to produce in the tool, that means from the mold it is bringing it very difficult, because this angle cannot be maintained to a certain extent, because it can get damaged for completely after doing the completion. So that's why they take it as a rectangle thing, and finally they try to cut the angle in the sides for the thing. So they here that what is the thing is the thing is happening. So this they do it in 25 mm ceramics and 30 thickness, depends upon the customer requirement. So what thing is standardization was brought in the design and development manual. That is SOP for selection of width updated in the design development manual. What the cost saving is, uh, when we do that, what is a standardization activity, what are the best thing we are able to do is we can able to bring down the cost very greatly. Maybe almost we can say 35% was saved during this, and also the cutting operation was minimized by doing this. What they've done is in the cutting operations, they studied further, and earlier they were what they're doing, they were making some 25 to 30% extra angle cutting. Okay, so that way what happens, what is say what they called in ceramic industry calls reclaim, means what is that unused portion is called as reclaim. So that generation was higher, so they want to minimize that. So then what happened, they studied with a lot of other what is it, combinations of different types of tiles, as well as different tubes which we can get from the thermal power plant, because all these parts were supplied to NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, and also to some part of to L&T groups it is being supplied. So with this, the group brainstormed it, analyzed it, and see that what is the closest possible cutting they can do, where the reclaim generation is minimized by 20%. Okay, so that means that because what happens, all the reclaims is not a waste. So what will happen, that ceramic material, it will be it is like a pot making. Ceramic is not, more or less a pot making, like when they do what is say physical thing, pressing, bring to the shape, and finally they put it in the furnace for what is say called a sintering process. Basically, like it is almost like a pot making. That means how a pot is being manufactured, right? So like this. So because of this 20% reduction of the reclaim generation was reduced, and because of that the cost associated with it also, it is great, it is reduced. So what are the tangible benefits? It was a cost saving 40 lakhs per annum. Side angle cutting was totally it was eliminated in the first, it was reduced, and further it was eliminated. Improves the lining aesthetics. That is, lining means inside what they are putting in a sequence. No, it's called as lining. Interchangeability of liners and reduction of manufacturing lead time. So intangible benefits: reduce operator fatigue, dust pollution due to green cutting, because when you cut the piece, lot of dust will be generated, where it affects the environment, as well as also the human being who does that job. And zero accidents, because of that. Then cost competitive in the market, happy customer. Finally, what do we want? We want a happy customer, and and we do the business in a very better way, and environmental friendly way, not polluting the environment and doing the activity. So this way it is being done, and it is a part of the supply chain activity, because we also will understand that this type of life cycle assessment is also part of this supply chain activity, because what we saw is 21st century supply chain management and logistics along with that. Thank you very much for a patient listening. So we'll see in the next module soon.